From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Like and follow News 1226 on Facebook for the latest up-to-date coverage near you.
On your side, this is News 12 First at 5.
Another recount for the presidential election starting right here at home today. This as Georgia investigates claims groups are trying to illegally register voters.
And after more than a year underwater, a huge cargo ship, still full of cars, is finally coming out of the ocean off the Georgia coast. More of these incredible pictures in just a few minutes. But first up today, some breaking news. A suspect arrested after the murder of a 77-year-old woman.
25-year-old Dustin Williamson now in custody, charged with murder and gun charges. He's been denied bond. Williamson is accused in the death of 77-year-old Henrietta Creech.
Investigators say she was killed in a drive-by shooting Saturday morning in Barnwell County. These are the first pictures we're seeing of her. We've also learned it's not the first time she's been the victim of a drive-by shooting. Her family tells us she was shot in another one 5 years ago.
That is just one of at least 5 shootings we've seen in the last 3 days here at home. 3 of them deadly. It started with the shooting at the 7th Lounge nightclub in Aiken early Saturday morning. 1 man was killed and 17 others were injured.
The next day, a man was killed in a shooting outside Palmetto Crossing Apartments in Aiken. Then in Augusta, a 14-year-old boy accidentally shot himself playing with a gun. Just this morning, a man shot in the foot on Wayside Drive. Celeste Springer live with an update now on 2 of those deadly shootings. Celeste.
Yeah, the doorway to 7th Lounge is still boarded up after the deadly shootings this past weekend, and investigators say they're open to any help they can get, whether it's cell phone video or eyewitness testimony of people who were here just out to have a good time when gunfire erupted. They say 18 people were injured here this past weekend. Of those, deputies say 5 were shot, one of them fatally. Craig Humans, a 30-year-old husband and father, was killed. And the sheriff's department will only say they're looking for 3 suspects seen leaving in a light-colored Chevy Tahoe. It was a violent weekend in Aiken all around. The very next day, another deadly shooting happened just 10 minutes away. A 34-year-old man was found shot and killed outside Palmetto Apartments. The Aiken Department of Public Safety says they got the call around 7:32 p.m. A mother of 3 who lives there tells me she couldn't believe what she saw outside her own front door.
I was like, no, that's just unreal, you know. So I happened to just go check it out, and I was there, and that was just the first for me, the very first to see a body down on the ground like that. Like, I've never seen it.
I asked the Aiken County Sheriff's Department what's next for them in their investigation, and they say their investigators are busy compiling all the evidence that they've collected so far. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll hear from the investigators of the Palmetto Apartments shooting about where they go from here.
So let's bring her live in Aiken for us. Celeste, thank you.
Meanwhile, after this shooting, a community activist wants the governor to shut down all clubs in South Carolina.
Those people came onto this property to commit a heinous act of violence, and they did. And I want them in custody and the harshest punishment handed down by law in this state.
In Augusta, a 14-year-old ends up in the hospital after deputies say he accidentally shot himself. Investigators say the teenager was playing with a gun last night when it went off and hit him in the hip. It happened just after 9 o'clock on Tobin Street. That's off Peach Orchard Road near Bobby Jones Expressway. Officials believe this teenager will survive those injuries.
An eerily similar situation in Mississippi to the club shooting we saw in Aiken. In this case, at least 11 people were shot at a private biker club. No one was killed. It happened early Sunday morning at this bar in Grenada, north of Jackson. Several shooting victims are in the hospital. One of them had to be airlifted there, and several other victims have already been treated and released. Authorities say they found guns and stolen property at the scene. No one's been arrested yet, and authorities are still looking, trying to figure out what led up to the shooting.
Weather-wise today, it's been all about the wind. It has been a very gusty afternoon for us, and even this morning, the wind was howling up to 40 miles an hour in some spots, and temperatures have actually been falling throughout the day. This is thanks to a cold front that's now moving east of us that is going to be bringing in some much colder air tonight and actually over the next 3 days for us. If you're planning to step out this evening, temps should be mainly in the 40s after the next several hours, but it will feel much colder than that. West winds are expected to actually stay between 10 to 15 through tonight and most of the day tomorrow. That will actually bring wind chills down into the 20s by early tomorrow morning. Here's a current look at the southeast. Radar-wise, we are tracking some snow showers across portions of Tennessee, northern Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia as well, getting in on the action. We actually do have some winter weather advisories for portions of the North Georgia mountains. We'll have a look at our cold stretch of weather in just about 10 minutes.
Riley, thanks. Politics now, another recandidate. The state has committed more than $40 million to support nursing homes during the pandemic. Meanwhile, tonight, the governor extends his executive order on COVID restrictions and his public health state of emergency. The COVID response order was set to expire tonight. It's now extended until December the 15th. That's the one with restrictions on businesses and also bans gatherings of more than 50 people. The public health state of emergency has been extended now until January the 8th.
Moderna now seeking emergency use of its COVID vaccine from the FDA. The company wants the agency to look at new data showing their vaccine is roughly 94% effective at preventing COVID-19. Moderna is now the second drug maker to seek emergency use for a vaccine, the other being Pfizer. The FDA will now review both of those applications in December. Moderna expects to have roughly 20 million doses of its vaccine available in the U.S. by the end of 2020.
So let's get a look at those statewide coronavirus cases as of this afternoon. 1,500 new cases in Georgia today. That is the fewest daily cases increase for the state in 2 weeks. The Peach State has now had decreasing daily cases 3 of the last 4 days. A good sign there. That's starting to reflect the 7-day moving average, which has started to decrease as well. In South Carolina, 1,100 new cases of the virus. That is 13 straight days of at least 1,000 new cases for the Palmetto State. This comes just 2 days after South Carolina saw 1,800 new cases, the most the state has seen since back in July.
Ex-trooper Jacob Thompson, who is accused of killing Julian Lewis, is now out of jail on bond. Lewis died back in August after being shot in Screven County after a traffic stop. Thompson is charged with murder, and he walked out of jail this afternoon. Attorneys for Lewis's widow say that's concerning that she could run into her husband's accused killer at the grocery store. Her son said this is not justice.
You know, it just doesn't seem to fall in line with justice. It does seem to fall in line with the trends that we're seeing, where officers not being held fully accountable. There's no action that can be really taken against that. He is free on bail, and that should not be. That is not justice.
A judge denied Thompson's bail back in September, but the judge in the case now says he meets the criteria needed to be set free. He cannot have contact with the family or witnesses as he waits to face aggravated assault and murder charges.
Big steps in the effort to get a massive cargo ship out of Simon's Island after it capsized in September of last year.
Heads up if you use I-20 to cross the state line at night. Lane closures starting again tonight. This is for work on that major project to widen those bridges crossing over the Savannah River and Augusta Canal. You can expect lane closures to last from 10 at night until 7 in the morning. That'll be happening through Saturday morning as long as the weather cooperates.
And don't forget, when you're out and about, to take in some of the sights of the season. One way to do that is the annual North Augusta tree lighting. They're going to flip the switch tomorrow night, and this year you can watch it all online. The program starts around 5:30 and lasts for about 45 minutes. Santa will make an appearance, and we have all this information and the link to watch on the website, wrdw.com.
Most of the area is dry this afternoon, but we are tracking some showers through some of our western counties. Update on radar and a look at some cold weather heading our way in just a little bit.
And an inspiration for young girls across the country. Hear from the first woman to ever play in a Power 5 football game coming up in 60 seconds.
Wrdw, and I approve this message.
Now to the play that put this woman in the history books with this kick. Sarah Fuller of Vanderbilt University became the first woman ever to play in a college football game for a Power 5 school.
Coach called for a squib kick, and she delivered perfectly, and she is not finished yet. Joe Fryer has more on the kickoff that broke barriers.
Fuller is about to put her right foot into a football, speaking volumes to women around the world.
In the stat books, it was a 30-yard kick. In the record books, it was history.
What a day in college football.
21-year-old Vanderbilt senior Sarah Fuller is now the first woman in college football history to play in one of the Power 5 conferences.
What emotions are you feeling now that you've reached such a milestone? Honestly, it's just so exciting.
Fuller is the 6'2" goalie for Vanderbilt's women's soccer team. Helped lead her team to this year's SEC championship. She was recruited to the football team in a pinch after COVID-19 forced the kicking squad to quarantine.
It was crazy because Monday I was packing to go home And I got a phone call and from my assistant coach, he's like, yeah, they need a kicker. I was like, all right, I'll be there in an hour.
In Saturday's game against the Missouri Tigers, fans, including Fuller's parents, watched and waited for her debut. The sticker on Fuller's helmet read, "Play like a girl."
There she is, wearing number 32.
The moment finally came at the start of the second half when with this 30-yard kickoff, the Texas native made history. It turned out to be her only kick. Vanderbilt never got in position to even attempt a field goal, leaving many to wonder, will there be more football in Fuller's future?
Talked with my special teams coach, and he was like, we'd love to have you stick around, and I would love to continue learning and refine my kicks and everything, and I'll stay around as long as they want me.
Women have played college football before, but not in the Power 5, the 5 major conferences in college athletics. Well, Vanderbilt lost 41-0, failing to score a single point on Saturday or win a single game this season. Sarah Fuller is giving the Commodores something to celebrate.
I just want to tell all the girls out there that you can do anything you set your mind to. Like, you really can.
There were a lot of people pulling for Vanderbilt on Saturday, and it wasn't the best day for the head coach. They fired him after an 0-8 start to the season, but Sarah, as you heard, she plans to play for the team as long as they'll have her stick around.
And even with the spotlight on her, Fuller says her goals haven't changed. She still plans to get good grades and graduate. So such an inspiration to so many young girls out there.
Yeah, hopefully she'll get her foot into an extra point or two before the season.
Yeah, we all want to see that.
Okay, the historic 2020 Atlantic hurricane season is officially over, officially ending today. A record 12 named storms making landfall across 7 states. There were 30 named storms in all. For just the second time in recorded history, the National Hurricane Center used every name on their list and then started using the Greek alphabet. 6 storms reached major hurricane status, which is a tie for the second highest number of major hurricanes in a single season. Riley, it's just too bad storms can't read calendars.
Unfortunately not, Richard, and we're just continuing the trend for 2020 so far. So even though, yes, the season does end today, we are still tracking systems out there. Now, this one's actually closer to Africa and Europe than it is to the United States, so no real threat to us. But, yes, here we go into December, and we could possibly still be naming tropical systems out there. So continuing to add to that record-setting tally so far this year. Today's been all about the wind. We've actually seen gusts close to 40 miles an hour in Aiken, Augusta, Louisville. You did see a gust over 40 earlier this morning. Still pretty breezy out there this afternoon, and expected to stay breezy through tonight and most of the day Tuesday as what's left of the system continues off towards the coast. So the main cold front now well east of us, but now we're seeing this low-level trough produce some snow across Tennessee, North Alabama, North Georgia, portions of the North Carolina mountains as well underneath a winter storm warning actually, and then advisories outside peppered across some of those lower elevations. For us, we're not expecting any snow, but it is going to be downright cold, and we're even tracking a little bit of rain in some of our western counties. A very cold rain at that through Hancock and Tolliver County this afternoon, and these are continuing eastward, so they could be heading towards places near Mayfield, Norris, Warrenton, Thompson. You could get clipped by that as well, but that should be the last of the rain as this does move out within the next few hours. Still hanging on to that cloud cover, and the clouds are going to stick with us at least through around midnight tonight, and then we should be generally sunny by Tuesday morning. We're still at 50, but keep in mind, temperatures have actually been dropping throughout the day as this front continues east of us. This morning, we're actually waking up in the upper 60s, and we've actually seen temperatures drop into the 50s this afternoon. If you're stepping out this evening, the wind chill's already going to be in the 30s and 40s by 8 o'clock, so definitely bundle up if you're stepping out. By tomorrow morning, take a look at these numbers. Wind chills in the mid to low 20s by early Tuesday morning, right around daybreak, and it is expected to stay chilly all day long Tuesday. By the afternoon, we're taking a look at feel-like temperatures still in the upper 30s for high temperatures as far as the wind chills go. Now, actual highs should be able to make it into the 40s tomorrow afternoon, but still very cold nonetheless. Actual temperatures tonight, generally mid to low 30s, but remember the wind is what's going to make it feel a lot colder for you early tomorrow morning. And throughout the day tomorrow, not expecting to see high temperatures above 49 degrees. So this is actually going to be one of the coldest high temperatures we have seen since March 5th of earlier this year. So it's been a while. Definitely going to be a little bit of a shock to the system. Staying sunny through Thursday, but as we head to Friday, that appears to be our next front where we could see some rain.
Riley, thank you. A doctor doing what she can to help out her local businesses in a way that helps customers there, too. We'll tell you how she's getting everybody a discount. doctor has come up with a really creative way to help her local businesses.
She's spending big at small businesses to help her community. Ted Land shows us how.
As each week draws to a close, Dr. Christine Zapata pulls out her wallet and asks a Seattle business owner to ring her up for $100.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Then she records a message for social media.
Hello, everyone. I'm here at Little Neon Taco, and I just opened up a $100 tab so that you can get $5 off of your order.
Just tell them it's on Dr. Christine.
Support them. They're a local small business, and they could really use your support right now.
I'm outside of Mighty O Donut.
I'm here at Real Fine Coffee.
I'm here at Half and Half Donuts.
I'm here at Westman Bagels.
She's been doing this every Friday since the start of the pandemic.
With all the doom and gloom that I was seeing on social media, I wanted to try to do something positive.
You let them know to put it on Dr. Christine's tab. Let them know to put it on Dr. Christine's tab. Let them know to put it on Dr. Christine's tab, and it's all yours.
In such an ugly time, it shows the beauty that people have inside of them, that they're willing to help the community, willing to help people.
I honestly thought that this was going to last maybe 2 weeks or a month tops. And here we are, 8 months later.
Zapata owns Emerald City Spinal Care on Capitol Hill, and though she's been able to stay open, she's had to make costly safety upgrades to her clinic. Some of her neighbors are just barely getting by.
A lot of the small business owners that I am talking to, they're really just trying to focus on surviving and trying to hang in there until things go back to normal.
When will that be? Who knows?
I will open these tabs as long as I can, as long as I have to.
They could really use our support.
They could really use your support right now.
Come by here and show them some support.
Take it to go. This one's on her.
It's really important that we try to support our local small business community today so they'll be here tomorrow. Love seeing people get creative with social media to do good.
Yeah, Dr. Christine, we love you wherever you are. The doctor has opened up more than $3,600 worth of tabs at her local small businesses, and she has no plans to stop anytime soon. This is an idea I hope really takes off.
Great idea there. Great stuff to see on social media going on. Tomorrow, we are expecting high temperatures about 20 degrees below average. How about that? We'll take another look at the 7-day forecast next.
I'm Kelly.
Follow News 1226 on Twitter to keep informed with the latest happening near you.
It is an unlikely friendship between this little girl and that turkey. It's Macy and her pet, Via. It all started back in March, at the beginning of the whole pandemic.
Yeah, Macy's parents had actually bought some turkey eggs to hatch, raise, and then eventually eat, but that all changed when Via hatched. Macy's mom says it started with snuggles on the couch when the turkey was very tiny, and then they just bonded.
It was almost like Via looked at Macy as mom. Their relationship just kept going.
I like to gobble with her sometimes.
Now they just like to hang out.
I do like, go, go, go.
Macy's mom says even all that time staying home from school, the turkeys helped her learn some unexpected lessons like responsibility, kindness, and respect for animals.
A new pet right there.
And a nice alarm clock, too. I'm sure, Via, makes a lot of noise as soon as that sun comes up. Cool stuff, though. We're looking at Aiken County, thanks to our Weather Sim camera network. A good look at sunset here, trying to sneak below the cloud cover. We have hit sunset, and now that the sun is down, we are going to be cooling off very quickly. So bundle up if you're stepping out here in the next hour or so. We do have some showers in some of our western counties, but that is about it, and it is dying off. So generally, just going to be cold and breezy for most of us tonight, and actually for the next 3 days. As we head towards Friday, that appears to be our next chance for rain.
Cool air coming in. President-elect Joe Biden getting ready to name more members of his economic team. President Trump gives his first interview since the election. All ahead, first at 5 in 3 minutes.
When we say we're on your side.
Kids are returning to the classrooms in all 3 of our biggest counties today after the Thanksgiving break, but there's been some questions about what that would look like and if it is safe. Richmond, Columbia, and Aiken counties all say they are not taking any extra precautions for students returning to class. At all schools, everyone will be continuing to wear masks, socially distancing, and sanitizing everything. School officials still believe school is the safest place for children.
The parents should send their children to school with great confidence, knowing that those 8 hours while they're with us, they're going to be well taken care of.
Columbia County says they are hoping everyone will be careful and take the same precautions during their winter break coming up in 3 weeks. Taking a look outside now over Grovetown, a lot of cloud cover, and keep you posted on that. A hearing is set tomorrow in the Bill Cosby case. The 83-year-old is serving a 3 to 10-year prison term for sexual assault charges. The court agreed this year to review 2 key issues in the case: the decision to let prosecutors call 5 other accusers to testify about long-ago encounters with Cosby, and whether the jury should have heard evidence that Cosby had given drugs to women in the past. Cosby is not expected to participate in those online hearings. It'll be his attorneys. The date is set for late basketball legend Kobe Bryant to be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. That ceremony was originally scheduled for August, but it was put on hold like so many things because of the pandemic. The NBA now says it will be held in May of next year. Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter Gianna were both killed in a California helicopter crash in January. Gosh, it doesn't seem like it was just January, along with 7 other victims. In addition to Bryant, other 2020 inductees include Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. Disney, unfortunately, laying off 4,000 more workers as the company struggles during the pandemic. Disney had already planned to lay off 28,000 theme park workers back in September, but they had to slim down protocols and attendance at the company's Florida amusement park since they reopened. The park opened back in July, several restrictions in place to maintain social distancing, so they are hurting. On Black Friday, shoppers spent a whopping $9 billion online. Traditionally, we know what Black Friday looks like. People lined up trying to get those doorbuster deals, fighting over Tickle Me Elmos, but because of the pandemic, a lot of people filled their online shopping carts instead. According to Consumer Affairs, 40% of Black Friday online spending was on smartphones, and more people took advantage of buy online and pick up in-store or curbside options, up 52% from last year. Don't forget about Giving Tuesday. That is tomorrow. Facebook will match $7 million worth of donations made on their page to U.S. nonprofits. The company also launching a new fundraising drives feature on community pages to help encourage people to give however they can. 100% of what's raised for nonprofits on Facebook and Instagram goes directly to those organizations. So great opportunity to help some of our local nonprofits. Columbia County Chamber Foundation, they want 100 donors to give $100 to reach a goal of $10,000. Chamber officials say the money raised would be invested back into the community. You can head to our website for more information on how to give. The White House has unveiled